12,000 years ago, something happened on this planet that wasn't supposed to be possible. Entire landscapes vanished, massive creatures disappeared, and oceans seemed to rise almost overnight. But here's the most unsettling part: what if ancient legends of a great flood weren't myths, but memories? Because scattered across the Earth today, scientists are finding evidence that suggests a catastrophic event so massive it rewrote human history, and some experts believe we were never meant to piece it together. In this video, you're going to uncover shocking evidence that points to a global-scale flood around 12,000 years ago. Evidence buried in ice, carved into rock, and hidden in ancient stories from civilizations that never should have known each other. We'll explore what really happened, who survived, and why this event might have been deliberately erased from history. Across continents, from the Americas to Asia, ancient cultures tell eerily similar stories. A massive flood, a warning ignored, a small group of survivors. From the Mesopotamian tale of a man saving life in a giant vessel, to indigenous stories describing the sky falling and waters swallowing the land, these accounts are too consistent to ignore. But for years, scientists dismissed them as coincidence or imagination, until something changed. Because when researchers began studying the end of the last ice age around 10,000 BC, they discovered something deeply unsettling. The Earth didn't slowly warm and stabilize like we once thought. Instead, it experienced chaos. But what could possibly cause oceans to rise so quickly that entire civilizations might vanish in a single generation? Was it melting ice, a comet impact, or something far more terrifying, something we still don't fully understand? Because hidden beneath layers of sediment, ice, and time lies a clue that changes everything. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's go back to the end of the last ice age. Around 12,800 years ago, the Earth entered a mysterious period known as the Younger Dryas, a sudden return to near-glacial conditions after a warming phase. Temperatures dropped dramatically, ecosystems collapsed. And then, just as suddenly as it began, it ended. What followed was even more dramatic. Massive ice sheets that had covered North America and Europe for thousands of years began to melt fast. But here's where things stop making sense. Geologists discovered enormous ripple patterns in regions like Washington state, triples the size of hills. These weren't formed by rivers, but by water flows so powerful they dwarf anything we see today. This led to the discovery of what we now call the Missoula floods, catastrophic releases of water from glacial lakes that tore across entire landscapes. But those floods were regional. The real mystery lies in evidence that suggests something much bigger. Deep beneath the ocean, researchers have found sudden spikes in freshwater deposit, signs that massive amounts of ice melted rapidly. Sea levels didn't just rise gradually. In some periods, they may have risen by several meters in just decades. Imagine coastal cities today: New York, Tokyo, Karachi, completely submerged within a human lifetime. Now imagine that happening in a world already struggling to survive an unstable climate. But perhaps the most controversial theory involves something from space. Some scientists propose that fragments of a comet struck the Earth around this time, triggering wildfires, atmospheric chaos, and rapid ice melt. They found microscopic spheres of melted material, unusual levels of platinum, and soot layers, all pointing to a possible cosmic event. If true, this wouldn't just be a flood. It would be a global catastrophe. And then there are the structures. Sites like Göbekli Tepe, buried intentionally thousands of years ago, suggest advanced human societies may have existed. Why bury such a place? What were they trying to hide or protect? And then there are the maps, ancient maps that appear to show coastlines that should have been underwater, as if someone had seen the Earth before the seas rose. It's a puzzle that doesn't fit neatly into our current understanding of history. There's something deeply human about all of this. For thousands of years, we've passed down stories not just as entertainment, but as warnings. Maybe these flood myths weren't meant to explain the past. Maybe they were meant to prepare us for the future, because deep down, Humanity has always feared one thing more than anything else: forgetting. So what really happened 12,000 years ago? The truth is, there may not have been a single great flood. Instead, the evidence points to a perfect storm of disasters. Rapid climate change, melting ice sheets, massive regional floods, and possibly a cosmic impact. Together, these events could have created the illusion or reality of a global flood. Entire coastlines vanished, cultures were erased, and survivors carried their stories across generations. Stories that became myths, myths that became legends, and legends that we're only now beginning to understand. The idea of a great flood isn't just a story from the past. It's a reminder of how fragile our world really is. Because if it happened once, it could happen again. And the question is, would we be ready this time? If you found this mystery fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hidden truths and forbidden discoveries. Because sometimes the past isn't gone. It's just waiting to be uncovered.